You know, my eyes are swollen half shut from allergies today. I could probably do this video on a different day, but I'm gonna do it today instead. I guess I should address the elephant in the room now, which I intended to do in the last video and forgot. I skipped the Namco review and I don't plan on doing a video for either cartridge. Why? Because the original Atari review made the Evercade look awful, mostly because of all the graphical glitches that came through recording that weren't actually present on the system. Getting video recording to work period on the Evercade handheld was a massive pain in the ass. The original Evercade does not do video pass-through well. In fact, it barely functions with an HDMI cable plugged in, which outside of my normally fantastic work schedule is why the video reviews went on hiatus for so long. Here's the problem. The Namco carts do not work on the Versus without an unofficial patch due to licensing problems. I'd rather not risk bricking my system to install that, and I'd rather not risk other people following my lead and potentially bricking theirs should a future firmware update cause problems. There's a million tutorials on how to do it, but I'll let the willing do it on their own time. The Namco carts have also been retired. You can buy the collections on damn near any system you own likely, and while it's possible to buy them, it will eventually go out of stock on the Evercade. Maybe I'll swing around if I ever get an EXP and record a proper video. But let's talk about the first Interplay cart. If you were a PC gamer at any point during the 80s and the early aughts, odds are Interplay published your favorite games. Baldur's Gate, Fallout, Bard's Tale, Descent, Kingpin, the list goes on and on. The Evercade cart has 6 titles, and yeah, let's just get into it. Number 1, Battle Chess. Battle Chess is to video games what Paint by Numbers is to World War II. And I say that knowing fans, and I have no idea if there are genuine Battle Chess fanatics, are going to be like, but Connor, it's chess. It's not like you can give Chessman a shotgun and make a fun game out of it. Does Battle Chess have fans? Who am I kidding? Every game has at least one ridiculously loyal fanatic. Also about the shotguns, you sure about that, Chief? Battle Chess is one of those games you look up a 10-minute video on YouTube with all the animations and think, that was pretty cool that they did all that for a game, especially one from back in the 80s, before never playing it. Its claim to fame back in the day was just that. It had a lot of neat animations. Unfortunately, you had to sit through every turn being a full minute or two of watching a piece slowly move across the field with no opportunity to speed up animations. This was 1988. The slowness was probably so the sped up animations didn't set the NES on fire. Should you play it? No. If you do buy the cart, I guarantee you'll get about 5 turns in and then watch the video compilation on YouTube. All the thumbs down. Number 2, Boogeyman, Pick and Flick Adventures. Boogerman is proof that you're never too old to enjoy a good fart joke or booger reference. Just listen to the synopsis for this game. One dark and stormy evening, the civic-minded Professor Stinkbomb was working in his lab above Takey Dump, where he was secretly building a machine called Zap-O-Matic that would save the world from pollution by transporting it to a place he called Dimension Excrement. That's Shakespeare-level writing. Boogerman is a 2D platformer, go figure, from a developer probably known best for their 2D platformers. Much like Earthworm Jim, more on that in a minute, it's a game that has deeply charming animations that set it apart outside of being a pretty standard platformer. Instead of an HP bar, your health is shown by the color of your cape, and instead of ammo bars, you have a booger and a gas meter telling you how much you can fling your boogers and burp and fart at your enemies. It all makes sense. It's the kind of game your mother would have disapproved of, and when we were kids, that was all the more reason to want to play it. As an adult, yeah, it's still pretty funny, because farts are funny no matter what your age, and you can either agree with me or you're a liar. The game is stupidly difficult once you get to the boss levels because the SNES version heavily crops the image and gives you less space to move around in. Oh yeah, this is the SNES version of Oh yeah, this is the SNES version of Boogerman. The SNES and Genesis versions have their various positives and negatives. However, if you want to play the Genesis version, the last time that one was legally sold was on the Wii Virtual Console. So your only option is to sail the 7 seas for now. And we all know finding Genesis ROMs on the internet is basically impossible. Thumbs up. Number 3, Clay Fighter. Clay Fighter is crap, and I'm pretty sure some people are going to hate me for saying that. But it is crap. It was groundbreaking when it came out in 1993 and used real photographs of clay figures, and I'm not saying the developers didn't put a lot of hard work into it, but the game is crap by today's standards and just about unplayable. It's a parody of fighting games from the time that doesn't actually translate good fighting mechanics. The game is very basic, and once you get past the novelty of the clay fighters, you start to realize how many better fighting games you could be playing instead. Shit, if you got the Evercade XP, you could just boot up Street Fighter 2. The game is bad no matter what version you buy it for, but I'm going to concede and say the Evercade Versus is a better system to play it on, because at least you can torture a friend and have them play it with you until they're no longer your friend. Evercade Handheld doesn't get multiplayer. Thumbs down on the Evercade Versus, and 2 thumbs down on the Evercade Handheld. 3 thumbs down on the Evercade XP. Number 4, Earthworm Jim. Earthworm Jim is the Mega Drive edition of the game, and that's the extent of what I have to say about it. Okay, fine, I really hate this game. Earthworm Jim, to me, exemplifies some of the worst of mid-90s game difficulty, from a time when developers kind of expected kids to be playing the same game for hundreds of hours because they owned maybe 5 or 6 titles, and in return made the games ridiculously difficult and often for the wrong reasons. I imagine many of the people with fond memories of this game have put hundreds of hours into it as kids and as teenagers back in the day and know pretty much every level from front to back. But that being said, I can recognize that Earthworm Jim is a good game. I just have no interest as a 34-year-old who never played it as a kid in getting good at it. That's kind of the problem of having a bajillion games in your library as well as a full-time job and doing all the dumb shit I do on the internet in my spare time. Thumbs up. Number 5, Incantation. Released in 1996 on the Super SNES, Incantation is, you guessed it, another side-scrolling platformer. I have some mixed feelings about Incantation. Is it a solid platformer? Sure. It was developed by Titus Interactive, which explains why it didn't have the expected Interplay bullshit, but you do have to remember that the developer is French. Incantation puts together a decent platformer with charming graphics and animations, and kinda ruins it with its level design, which is best described as frustrating for the sake of frustrating. It's one of those games from an era where developers made platformers to be memorized. You die 100 times navigating around an obtusely built level, experimenting with pitfalls to figure out which ones are safe to fall down, so one day you can lord over your friends on how easily you beat the level. You must find the wheat in order to progress, and often the game lets you get past the point of no return, forcing you to kill yourself to start the level over again. Encouraged suicide was a lot more present in games back in the 90s. I'm going to give this one a very unconvincing thumbs up. Number 6, Titan. Maybe it's the graphics, maybe it's the camera, maybe it's the sound, maybe it's all 3. Titan is the fastest a video game has ever given me a migraine behind my eyeball. A twist on Breakout, I can't recommend this game at all. Maybe it's because it's ridiculously annoying to look at, to listen to, and to play. In a world with smoother controls and camera movement, it might be an enjoyable title. That isn't here. Thumbs down. Conclusion. The Interplay Collection is really hard to advocate for, given it has only 6 games right off the bat, and of those I can really only recommend 3 of them on quality, and they are all 2D platformers. If you don't like difficult, obtusely built games designed to constantly screw you over, this cartridge has nothing for you. On the other hand, outside of Earthworm Jim on Steam, you can't really find many of these games on modern systems. Earthworm Jim had an HD release back in 2010 on Xbox and PlayStation and was pulled from sale in 2018. Let me know what you think about the Interplay cart in the comments below, and like and subscribe for more of whatever the hell this is. Earthworm Jim had an HD release back in 2020. Earthworm Jim had an HD release back in 2010 on Xbox and PlayStation and was